One of the world's wealthiest and most charitable individuals, Warren Buffett needs no introduction. You know him as the chairman, CEO, and largest shareholder of the multinational conglomerate Berkshire Hathaway. But do you know who the Oracle of Omaha was before he was a billionaire? For Valuetainment Media, I'm Gerard Harron, and this is Before They Were Billionaires. Born August 30th, 1930, Warren Edward Buffett was the second of three children and the only son of Howard and Layla Buffett. His father was a four-term U.S. congressman. Buffett began his education at Rose Hill Elementary School. In 1942, his father was elected to the first of four terms in the United States Congress. And after moving with his family to Washington, D.C., Warren finished elementary school, attended Alice Deal Junior High School, and graduated from Woodrow Wilson High School in 1947, where his senior yearbook picture reads, "Likes math, a future stockbroker." Buffett displayed an interest in business and investing at a young age. He was inspired by a book he borrowed from the Omaha Public Library at the age of 7. 1,000 Ways to Make $1,000. Much of Buffett's early childhood years were enlivened with entrepreneurial ventures. In one of his first business ventures, Buffett sold chewing gum, Coca-Cola bottles, and weekly magazines door to door. As Ace Hood and Lil Wayne would say, Buffett hustled hard. Hustled real hard. Hustled hard. He worked at his grandfather's grocery store while still in high school. He made money delivering newspapers, selling golf balls and stamps, and detailing cars, among other means. On his first income tax return in 1944, Buffett took a $35 deduction for the use of his bicycle and watch on his paper route. In 1945, as a high school sophomore, Buffett and a friend spent $25 to purchase a used pinball machine, which they placed in a local barbershop. Now, of course, this is 1945, so it could also be that that's like worth $3,000. I don't know. That could be a lot of money or not. I really don't know. Adjusted for inflation. Within months, they owned several machines in 3 different barbershops across Omaha. The business was sold later in the year for $1,200 to a war veteran. Buffett's interest in the stock market and investing dated to schoolboy days he spent in the customer's lounge of a regional stock brokerage near his father's own brokerage office. On a trip to New York City at age 10, he made a point to visit the New York Stock Exchange. At the tender age of 11, he bought 3 shares of City Service Preferred for himself and 3 for his philanthropic sister Doris. At the age of 15, Warren made more than $175 monthly delivering Washington Post newspapers. In high school, he invested in a business owned by his father and bought a 40-acre farm worked by a tenant farmer. He bought the land when he was 14 years old with $1,200 of his own savings. As I speak to you right now, 32 years old,
I do not have $1,200 in savings.
But I got credit. By the time he finished college, Buffett had accumulated $9,800 in savings, over $100,000 worth today.
I will remember you.
He was plus $100,000 by the time he was done with college. Most kids today are less than $100,000. They have debt, $100,000 in debt. And if you don't believe me, watch this video that we did on student loan debt. In 1947, Buffett entered the prestigious Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania. He would have preferred to focus on his business venture, however, he enrolled due to the pressure from his father. Warren studied there for 2 years and joined the Alpha Sigma Phi fraternity. He then transferred to the University of Nebraska, where at 19, he graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration. Shout out to Tommy Frazier and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. After being rejected by the Harvard Business School, Buffett enrolled at Columbia Business School at Columbia University, upon learning that Benjamin Graham taught there. He earned a Master's of Science in Economics from Columbia in 1951, and after graduating, Buffett attended the New York Institute of Finance. He worked at his father's company, Buffett Falcon Company, from 1951 to 1954 as an investment salesman. This showed what an astute investor he was. He was appointed at the starting salary of $12,000 a year at Benjamin Graham's partnership in 1954. His boss was a difficult man to work with and expected strict adherence to conventional rules of investing, which Buffett's young mind questioned. When Benjamin Graham retired and closed his partnership in 1956, Warren had already amassed a large personal savings account with which he opened Buffett Partnership Limited, an investment partnership in Omaha, Nebraska. He started operating several other partnerships, and by the end of the decade, he had 7 partnerships operating. He became a millionaire in 1962 as a result of all of his earnings from all of his partnerships. He then merged all of those partnerships into one and invested in a textile manufacturing firm called Berkshire Hathaway. He began purchasing the shares of Berkshire Hathaway aggressively during the early 1960s and eventually took over control of the entire company. During the late 1960s, he shifted the business from textile into the insurance sector, and by 1985, the last of the textile mills under Berkshire Hathaway had been sold off, making Warren Buffett officially a billionaire. In the years to come, Buffett would diversify Berkshire Hathaway, purchasing a 12% stake in Salomon Incorporated in 1987 and becoming its largest shareholder. He also bought stock in a young company called Coca-Cola in 1988, eventually purchasing up to 7% of Coca-Cola for just a shade over $1 billion. And in what would prove to be one of the best Berkshire Hathaway investments of all time, he entered an $11 billion worth of forward contracts to deliver US dollars against other currencies in 2002. In June of 2006, Buffett made an announcement that he would gradually give away 85% of his Berkshire holdings to 5 foundations, the largest contribution of which would go to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In 2008, he became the richest man in the world with a total net worth estimated at over $62 billion by Forbes, overtaking Bill Gates, who had been number 1 on the Forbes list for the 13 previous years. It was short-lived, however, as the very next year, Gates regained the first position and Buffett moved back to second place. In 2011, he was presented with the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Barack Obama and is nearly universally considered the most successful investor of the 20th century, as well as one of the most charitable philanthropists of our times. So that's the story of how Warren Buffett became a billionaire. For Valuetainment Media, I'm Gerard Harron. If you want to see the rest of Before They Were Billionaires, click on this playlist right here. And if you're interested in learning how another billionaire investor got his start, Patrick Bet-David has an unbelievable interview with Mark Cuban that you can watch right here. Thanks, everybody, and see you next week. You know what you don't see anywhere here, folks? Warren Buffett hasn't gotten laid yet, all right? Not yet. He's a nerd. He's a geek. After being rejected by Harvard Business School, business, did I really just say business? And if you want to see how other billionaires, words, lots of words, more words than I need.